because we're first, right? So essentially, all of the videos is research data, so people
Yep.
can go and take a look and see, you know, what are the dynamics and all that. Okay.
Also holding us accountable, how many things we say in the call and how much actually we build.
Yeah, like having someone coming 2 years later and saying, yeah, you're not really that productive. Yeah. Anyway, just to update everyone then, so we're live on ArchiDAO NFT, right? Not much happening the past week. I have two solutions in terms of creating a soulbound token, one standard and one non-standard. And hopefully I can show it running next week. And then I'll start badging Bobby and Hiko for hooks to interface with the website.
Cool.
And that's me for this week.
I'm sorry, I did nothing because I was on the conference. And then I was just preparing my PhD topic, and I have tomorrow presentation. So yeah, I'm afraid that I'll have to leave you now, and yeah, join you next week, hopefully.
Enjoy, Yuka.
Yeah,
Ciao.
thanks. Bye. Have a great
Good luck.
talk. Bye.
Bobby, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. I've been working on the animation of the logo for the beginning of the. Oh, can you please allow me for sharing screen? View. Thanks. Of course, I'm having trouble with all these hooks. Sometimes I love React, sometimes I hate it, and but I hope I'll be ready to make it work. So we decided that we want something simpler, right? That will make make the logic between each part of the website. So I was thinking something that would be like this, that could be right in the corner, and simple, interactive, with the hero part, with the sentences here on the side. And once you scroll down, this will open up and allow for the next of the website to happen. And also it would connect with the globe that Simon did. Hiko, did you get to see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw. It looks very cool though.
Yes, Simon did it. Simon, do you want to explain?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's just playing around with 3.js and playing around with 3Globe, I think it's called, package, which extends 3.js to look at creating, a globe really, and plotting points, labels, arcs, and sort of rings on, latitude, longitude points on the globe. So this has been fed information around a small list of members, ArchiDAO members, and it's a JSON object really, and it is an array of people's names and locations on the planet, and the countries that they reside in. It's telling this planet to highlight those countries white, and everything else is slightly gray. And what I wanted to do is instead of just have a globe, but look at, and Bobby's just put it in there, is look at creating a 3D object, which is the logo. And that's the centerpiece of the globe. And I was really inspired with, basically, if you remember you've seen those sort of like old school pop art almost, like the early 20th century of like radio station, radio broadcasting around the globe kind of thing. And that's where I got my inspiration from, really. So do something a little different than just a realistic view of the globe at night or during the day or whatever. But try and look at something a little more creative and a little more different. So the rings that are emitting on the globe, that's obviously people's locations. And then the radius of those rings is dictated by the number of skills that they have. So whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it just makes for a little bit more complexity to the about page. So there would obviously be more information here that we could do, like labels for each person, folios, images, whatever. But it's a sort of a starting point.
That's really interesting. And it does show this, old school global connectivity, kind of 80s graphics, really, really simple in terms of, people from all over the globe collaborating. And as you were saying this, I'm adding now to the Archidao NFT location, which we didn't have. So I'm going to add that as a feature, and maybe then that's what we would be able to read. I mean, if it scales, it could be a case that you read every time someone loads the website, it reads like 50 random members of the NFTs and then renders that. Would that be possible? I mean, in the future version.
Yeah, absolutely. And I randomize it every time that gets loaded. The arcs that sort of connects everyone together is randomized every single time. So it's going to create and there's other data that we can append to that randomization to make every time you load it up, it's a unique symbol, I guess, every time. So yeah, totally. We could update that JSON object with a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I think this could be like one of the important decision for Archidao NFT, where if we are doing location, like, are we doing like a KYC of our NFT holders, or if someone wants like decentralized identity and privacy, like.
Yeah, it's a very fine line.
Yeah, I mean, the other problem is that, well, you can do KYC, you can do, I mean, the Archidao NFTs won't have names on. So we can find a way to do a KYC, but then you will have to have it public. I mean, it's not easy to do soul-bound tokens without having them public. But I also started looking into zero knowledge proofs and how we could potentially do that. So yeah, I don't know, hold your horses still, and then we'll see how that might.
The original idea of this page was to show the original members, at least, because the focus was the clients. Like, we want to be hired, so they want to know who we are, and that's the original idea. But for later, maybe we might need to or other a different page, or I don't know.
Yeah, but it might be for people who don't want to have their data scraped essentially by any of these repositories. Or you could have maybe a trigger on the NFT that keep the data private.
Yeah, you can opt in, maybe not.
Yeah, like one of the idea we discussed when last time with the globe feature, where if we are fetching the location, let's say from the NFT metadata, and we have skills as also like a attribute or parameter built in the smart contract, we could have filters in our website where, okay, drop down computational designer, and suddenly it highlights on the globe only people who have computational design attribute, or show me like, because one first thing is like categorizing the people, and second is people want to shortlist and filter down people who want to collaborate, and so that could be.
Yeah, but probably the main question is to show all the computer designers, do we need to show where they are located? Or that's a different story. Like, why are we using the globe in the very beginning? Like the main purpose was to show that we are a global community. Okay.
Yeah. And I think at least for the core members, the information on where we are is already out. I mean, not exactly, but in terms of cities, it's already out. If someone wants to watch the video.
Yeah, where we're from at least. Yeah.
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 But yeah, I think, yeah, maybe we're overcomplicating. I think it's a cool effect, and then let's see how we can adapt it later.
Yeah, maybe for the future community with everybody, we could use something more graph nodes, like show only the members who are this skills, and we could have some kind of Python based thing, different style, not related with a globe.
Mm-hmm.
And we take this problem out. You're muted if you're saying something.
Sorry. Yeah, thanks. We were wondering, like, there are few elements of the website we are clear in the vision and what we want to do. But there are a few things which I think if we do the Archidao branding workshop, it will really help us like hone in the theme and like the core component, what makes Archidao, and reflecting it in the experience of the website. So how do we push that workshop to happen soon?
That's with you, Theo.
I know. So let me email. I think to, yep. Keep on talking, and I'll email Liam now.
If we want to do, if we don't want to wait, we could do something only by ourselves to start.
So,
anyway,
would it make sense if we made it on Saturday on the core group? Is that a good idea? Is that a bad idea? Yeah, seems like
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah, I struggle with Saturdays, but it's fine. If there's a recording, I'll definitely catch up though.
Okay, I'll offer 2 days. So I'll offer Saturday and then maybe another day. Let's see what Liam, when Liam is free as well. And we'll go with that. Okay.
Is there anything related to website we need some decisions to be made here?
I guess the workshop, the branding workshop, that's the decision.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
I also just update from my side. I haven't been able to do much. Electricity's been struggling on this side, but I'm hoping things will go better with this week. And then now I haven't actually caught up with Bobby even. It's just been struggling a bit, but yeah, we'll catch up soon.
Yeah, from my side, I don't have much code written. I've been researching mostly how to make the smart contract multi-chain, and also researching like application specific chain with Cosmos or Polkadot, like thinking, are there any decisions we should consider right now that can help in future scalability for the product or smart contract we develop? So also ZK proof and stuff. Yeah. Maybe at some point in future, I can do a quick 15-30 minute presentation about the findings.
I think that would be useful. I think we also need to look at specific layer twos and zero knowledge rollups where needed. I kind of feel we will need it, and I'm not. Yeah, I feel I need to read on it. So happy if you do a presentation, because it will speed up involvement on those layers.
Yeah, like also like we are. I think Simon brought this up, and this is one of the thing I wanted to do in hackathon. Is we are integrating real life data, be it IoT or even. So one of the idea I had is if you are offering like collateral or liquidity of real estate using NFT, we need like a oracle which reflects the real estate price in real time, and then like how like just investigating like are there things in Chainlink ecosystem we can use, because in US there is like a website which is a central listing where you can update your real estate sale price or rent price, and then all other website fetches the data and update on that interface. So if we tie that with the oracle, essentially we have a real estate real-time data, and if you are providing 70% as a loan or collateral, I don't know what happens if we get liquidated, but
we had done this with Hiko using UK data and Chainlink in a hackathon. I think the biggest problem with Chainlink at the moment, since last year, I don't know whether this has improved this year, but since last year, was every time you need to use Chainlink, especially for test networks, you need to run a Chainlink node. This was our experience. Or you need to get someone who is running one to put the JSON on, and then to pull the feedback out. It's not impossible, but I think we need to start looking, especially for oracles, we need to start looking at running our own infrastructure, and that might get complicated. But for stuff like that, I mean, yeah, we were trying real estate down. That was one of the more cool points, get a database, put it in an oracle, and then feed it into a smart contract.
yeah, like I was talking to one of the VC here, like more a prop tech VC, and he gave an idea. It would be cool, like, so a lot of times when you're a developer, you have a discrepancy, or like you release your funding to the main contractor, but the contractor has a lot of building subcontractors, so you don't have any transparency layer. Is when I release my funding to the main contractor, has the main contractor released or not? What is like, are there any claims made? So it would be really interesting if there's like a dashboard template where, okay, create a new construction project, add subcontractor, then the subcontractor can file a claim, and there's a building treasury which shows like a directional workflows. Oh, this is if this was refunded or paid or not.
So there are a couple of or more, I mean, including potentially my work, projects that look to deal with the whole life cycle of buildings and blockchain and smart contracts, right? So from briefing until decommission. And I think a lot of the products that we will be building are lying somewhere on that whole life cycle, from briefing, design, construction. So I think one of the things we need to do, maybe not now because we're streaming and we don't want all of the good ideas to be out, is do a couple of more product sessions, especially for those things, because there is a lot of material already published in terms of research, right? There are also really good ideas. And I think we can start really planning, starting with the crypto twin, which is kind of like at the end process, but then working backwards, because we've tested a couple of things in hackathons, and I think we are, it's good to actually start thinking of how do we make products that can be used both by companies and researchers as well.
Yeah, I think like it might be helpful. One thing I realize is having some like customer or like a pilot customer to get feedback about what we are building something which we are hoping it solve a problem, but are they really want that? Or for example, we are hoping that your building related data would be in demand where you can sell with a reward of your IoT or building usage. But are there any third party companies ready to pay for it, or is there, or it might be totally another thing of building usage which is more valuable for real estate developer to design better space, like data driven building usage? Like, I don't know.
I suspect it depends on the country as well.
Yeah.
I can tell you that.
Mhm.
It depends on the country and the type of the building. I can definitely see, for example, if you can be able to get privacy handled, for example, data from, say, university buildings would be valuable to marketing companies on what the users are doing. You know, if you're targeting people 18 to 25, right? Most of them would be kind of I mean, some of them would be in university. But you also might have, you know, the most classic thing would be data from maintenance, aggregate data for maintenance, right? So stuff like that.
Yeah, a big one is like, you know, facilities management is a huge space that's sort of getting on board with digital twins, let alone
Hence why we're starting. Hence why we're starting with CryptoTwin as the first product, and we're not starting with the architectural design, which everybody is asking me, why did you start with that one? There's more money on CryptoTwin.
Yeah.
Or at least it's easier for them to see the notion that if you have all of the data automatically handled, and then if you allow them to predict when things will break, you have a huge benefit from it.
Yeah, you've got a value proposition straight away. Right?
Yeah, I mean, their biggest headache for operations is, can I know, you know, ahead of time that something is going to break, and can I take care of it before it breaks, so I don't have my users complaining and writing tickets to me. The other thing that they're interested in is providing options for their owners, right? So the billing operator is not the owner a lot of times, or is providing a service, right? So they want to provide options, right? More so when you have issues of energy as we have now, at least in Europe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think a big thing as well that Archidao should look at is bridging the gap and making that a real focus and almost like a service, which is going, look, you've got this building in real life, we've got a bunch of sensors, or we've got a bunch of data that's been derived from that with Metaverse and on-chain functionality. We can give you this sort of value because we're gonna partner you up with this other company that's, you know, not necessarily focused on AEC, but they can definitely like almost broker, like we could broker in a way, broker people's data for them to get value out of it by bridging and creating relationships, you know.
Yeah, and you can. There are many ways to do it, right? But you're talking about creating aggregates of the data of the digital twins. Then you can use, for example, Ocean Marketplace to basically say, okay, if I have 500 of those buildings, right, large buildings that they all need their windows cleaned, for example, I'm saying that silly example, right? You know, here are the data that you can use to actually price that job, in a sense. It might be even more elaborate in terms of business models, and go with securitization business models with mechanical engineering companies and elevator companies. Basically say, well, we'll create a digital twin of the elevator, right? You don't own the elevator, it's owned by the lift company, but essentially you pay based on usage, and you can see, very accurately what type of usage you have using the twin. That's maybe 10 years later, but yeah, we will.
Yeah,
get
that's
to that
interesting.
kind of level.
Like leasing instead of outright owning something that you seldomly use over across a year. That would be huge.
Yeah, the one thing I've always was warning my clients when they wanted to build a professional space is that, if you built it, you need to also feed the beast. You need to maintain it. So for certain businesses, that kind of type of arrangement with the bottom line is better than just owning the asset and then having to maintain it. So yeah, that's essentially the business model for the crypto twin. That's why it makes sense, right?
Cool.
Good. If we don't have anything else, we can close it for today, and we can go back to coding.
Quite productive, Carl.
Excellent. Email on branding is going out now. So hopefully Liam is okay for Saturday. If not, I'll try and arrange another day. Excellent.
Thank you.